Welcome to the Tantra and Yoga podcast. These podcasts are recorded live at Anutara Ashram with Artemis and Bhairav in the Nishka Nation of northern BC, Canada. They bring clarity to some of the fundamental questions by spiritual seekers along the path of awakening.
What do you think about plant medicines and their role in society?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Where to begin? Do you want to go first? I feel like I have a long... I can go first.
No, I can go. Yeah, plant medicines. Every plant will have some kind of being or spirit attracted to it. Like a lot of plants, household plants that are used, they have like a yang type of energy, which is why when you go into a home that has plants, you kind of feel recharged. And so they can be very positive. And of course, there's herbs and things we can take to heal us. And herbology has been around forever. When it comes to stimulants and things that affect the psyche, they can be addictive, for one thing. Maybe not necessarily physically addictive, but psychologically addictive. So something like take ayahuasca, which is a beautiful experience, which is heart opening. It can be addictive for some people. That's the only way they can feel their heart open and feel united with others. And I feel like that plant medicine can show us what we can achieve without the plant medicine. That is kind of like this jump to show you something, but then you go back to where you were before, most often. Maybe with a little bit more knowledge, with a nice memory, but then you can actually start to go there in meditation. So to show us how to go there. Especially in the lineage we're in, it's a different kind of energy than we work with. So plant medicines they tend to be quite they're a fast path. And with a fast path like this, if we take them all the time, there's problems like addiction, but there's issues that can arise. Like being so open, and then suddenly, if you don't have the proper shaman around, suddenly being inhabited by something else, and not being able to shake this thing on your own, So it's something to be careful of in my mind. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot more to it. Maybe you
Riff off of that?
Yeah.
Psychedelics were a big part of my spiritual path and my journey, and especially where it really, I think, started in a sense. I can't really point to one place and say that that's where it started, but I mean in the sense that with psychedelics, I had some of my first awakening experiences. As Bhairav said, I got to see where meditation could take me. And actually coming to mantra and Shivohams and this tradition, I definitely was like, I would be in meditation sometimes and be able to say, I've been here before, but on drugs. I don't like that word so much, but through psychedelics, through plant medicines and so on. And I also felt that for me personally, and this is my personal story and isn't necessarily true for everyone, but for me, if I'd come to that place through meditation alone, I don't think I could have handled it if I hadn't had the experiences I'd had with psychedelics. Does that make sense? So psychedelics helped me to expand my mind and to perceive alternate realities and heightened hearing and senses and colors and all of these kinds of things, so that when it happened in my meditation, it didn't really blow my mind the way it might if that was my first time experiencing that state of awareness. And I can almost 100% to credit my being here because of ayahuasca, because of some very clear visions and directions that ayahuasca gave me. And I myself have a strong connection with Mother Mary, and Mother Mary and ayahuasca are the same mother to me. And so I trusted her undoubtedly. But it wasn't just her. And I see this in retrospect now, that it was also the shaman. And I have never met a shaman of his stature again. And I've worked with many shamans in different medicines and different places around the world. And I can see now that he was on another level. And I've also been in ceremonies where the shaman was not mature enough, and things did go wrong, and she made bad decisions. And as Bhairav said, we were speaking earlier about moon time and the different states, tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas being inertia, rajas being activity, sattva being purity. Plant medicine paths, spiritual paths, are paths of tamasicity. They're darker paths, which is what makes them fast if you're guided properly through them. So as we spoke about how to be a shaman, you need to be able to walk through the valley of death to see your demons. You want to fully trust, and trust your life with the shaman you're going to take medicine with, because they are going to have to walk you through that valley. And if there's just the slightest bit of doubt in them, or if they can't or have not yet walked that themselves, they're being very irresponsible, first of all, because they are taking your soul into their hands. And if you have that doubt, well, we've known people to have entities enter them. I've known people to go into a bit of a psychosis for years because they had a bad experience, and a certain level of trust can be very deeply broken by a shaman. So in just the smallest way, in them just not being there for you in that moment that you need them. And it doesn't have to be, that they completely abandoned you or whatever. It just they have to be able to be there for every energetic shift in the room for each being. And if they can't be, they're not prepared to properly guide people. So with a tamasic path comes great danger. But yeah, as Bhairav said, it can be incredibly healing, incredibly heart-opening. And this addiction that Bhairav speaks about, I see as being the one who's perpetually on a path to heal themselves. They've just received a huge download from the mother. They've got a lot to work with, and they're already looking for the next ceremony to get another download. And so there's this kind of gluttony, because you're working with a tamasic path, that easily can come in, of wanting more and more and more. That's a very, lower energy. And so it's also really important, I feel, to find that one shaman you trust and work closely with them rather than bouncing around. It's like bouncing around to doctors. They're going to, give you different medicines, give you different practices. And if you don't stay with that doctor long enough, they're not going to be able to be like, you were here 5 ceremonies ago and we already went through this, smarten up. And if you're always bouncing around, no one's there kind of keeping that medical record in a sense. Or even if we look at it in psychology, to be able to say well, remember your mom? We already talked about your mom. So it's something, unfortunately, that's almost becoming too accessible. And too many people are just getting access to these medicines, these sacred medicines, calling themselves shamans, and not really understanding the responsibility that they're taking on. So That's my honest.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, it definitely brings you to some dark places. And
Yeah.
I've been to some dark places for sure, but it was such a like a lesson.
Right.
For me.
Yeah.
Mostly
Yes.
about control.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
If you found this podcast helpful, be sure to follow and turn on notifications to be the first to know when new episodes are released. To embody philosophy through practice, join our Sangha membership to access a wide range of Tantra and Yoga classes and community. Hari Om.